internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain. And this is episode 20 of All That Glitters, a Waterdeep Dragon Heist campaign happening every Monday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/Mini Terrain Domain. Or you can check out the videos on demand later over on youtube.com/Mini Terrain Domain. We like to play D&D here on Mini Terrain Domain, and that's what we're going to do tonight, just like we do every Sunday night, every Monday night, every Thursday night, and sometimes extra nights in between when we can squeeze it in. Couple of real quick announcements before I turn it over to Mike, who is our Dungeon Master for this campaign. Obviously, announcement one, our fourth player, Cassie, could not be with us tonight. I believe she was having internet issues. Something about a modem being struck by lightning. That'll do it. But at any rate, we are going to continue on with the three of us. Mike's going to see what he can do. So hopefully Cassie doesn't return next week to be the only surviving member of our party. So if you are interested in Dungeons and Dragons and you're thinking, I just can't afford to buy the books to get started, or I just like the starter set. I know it's only $12, but I just can't afford it. Well, you can enter the link I just put up in the Twitch chat for a chance to win. I don't know what that was. Twitch chat? You can click that link and you can enter for free as part of the drive towards the sprint towards 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. Of course, one of the ways you can get extra entries is to subscribe to my YouTube channel, but you don't have to. You can enter as many or as few times as you like to win one of 3 Game Masters bundles, including a D&D 5th Edition starter set, 6 sets of dice, 6 pre-painted miniatures that match the pre-gens, and one lucky winner will also get a player's handbook, a monster manual, and a Dungeon Master's guide, and the Dungeon Master's screen reincarnated. And that drawing is happening in 8 days. I will be doing the drawing during the day on April 16th, which is my birthday. So for my birthday, I'm giving 3 people out there presents. Another announcement here. If you're hanging out on Twitch, you may have noticed there's been a slight redesign. Nothing earth-shattering, but I updated some of the information bars down below the Twitch, the main Twitch viewer. And you'll see a few new ones. Most notably, I'm very excited to, in just 1 month, be partnering with Jasper's Game Day. Well, I'm already partnering with Jasper's Game Day, but in 1 month, we will be doing a week-long stream benefiting Jasper's Game Day called Jasper's Game Week. 5 days, 8 hours of gaming every day. That's 40 hours of gaming, raising money the whole time for Jasper's Game Day. We've got some amazing Dungeon Masters and players coming your way during that week. 3 games every day, as well as numerous raffles, auctions, and giveaways as we hit various fundraising goals. We've partnered with companies like D&D Beyond, Wizards of the Coast, Dogmite Games, Wormwood, and so there are lots of really awesome things that will be given away. You can follow me on Twitter. My link's up here to get more information on that. Or you can follow at Jason T D&D DM. He is our games organizer and has been tweeting all kinds of information about what games are coming up. Each day, each of the 5 days, there is a flagship game with an open seat, and you can basically buy a raffle ticket. They're $5, and you have a chance to win a seat at a table with those flagship games. DMs like James Introcaso, Dan Dillon. We've got Gil Ramirez, the Don't F Me Gil from Critical Role. the one who forges the dice for meteorites and such, is playing one of those games. All kinds of great things going on that week. Look down below. There is a Jasper's Game Day button that you can press. Last thing, domain dice. If you're no stranger to this channel, you know that we have domain dice. On this show, we have domain dragons. They are visible right down there, just a little bit below Mike. Right now, they show up as a domain or platinum sun, because that's 10. And then there's a domain dragon there. Thank you to Chesic Student for popping in the domain dice information bar. All of the ways you can contribute to domain dice are listed in the chat, and what the dice do for the players is listed down below in the scroll. We already got a late start. I babbled on long enough. Mike, I'm going to turn it over to you.
You fool. Now it is my stream. Anyway, right. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to All That Glitters. And, of course, the best part, well, at least of my Monday, because I get to torture 3, at least, out of 4 people for a few hours. And maybe we'll take a break, and then there'll be more torture. And then there will be the end, sometimes on a cliffhanger. So, before we jump right in, I know we're starting a little bit late, so thanks a lot for your patience as we kind of sorted some technological hiccups. We're going to go with a really quick recap by one of these 3 fine individuals for a point of inspiration. Okay. And if not, okay.
Yeah, nice. I'll go to this week. I feel like I took good notes last time. We'll see. So yeah, so last time we all woke up and having noticed that our prior companion had gone to be with her daughter and at the behest of Tamora, we woke up to our new guest Ash meeting us for breakfast, and we spent an inordinate amount of time trying to figure out who made said breakfast because we're really suspicious folk. But after Ash was able to talk to some sort of fire spirit in the fire in the hearth, and got some backstory stuff going on there. But then we decided to set out, and instead of doing any kind of like actual story missions or anything like that, we decided to set out on just some rando side quests and trying to find Ash's the guild that she was in town looking for, the Muddy Paws. Also spending an inordinate amount of time trying to remember what it was actually called. Spent some time at Steam and Steel, and they set us on the straight and narrow as far as where to look. We wound up at the Stone House. We found on the way there that the seasons have changed and things are getting pretty windy and cold, hard to hear while we're walking because the wind whips through the streets and whatnot. We met Micken at the Stone House, found that some things had been stolen. Mostly the maps that Anna and Bevyn were interested in. We found a clue that has directed us to the basically through some investigation. We've been directed to the Underdark Club and nightclub, and so we have this quest in front of us to figure out what happened to the maps. And while when we made it to the Underdark, we found out the building was closed, and decided to go and head on to the trades ward to track down the clues that we found on the Nimblewright a couple of sessions ago. When we got to the alley that was on the map we had, we turned around to find an apple cart careening towards us. And that's where we left off.
Awesome. Give yourself a point of inspiration for a second point of inspiration. What was on the apple cart?
There was a boy of some sort. I don't remember what kind of boy.
Can anyone give me a slightly better answer for the steal? All right, I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give you that second one. It was a young tiefling child.
Dang it!
And,
I was gonna say tiefling.
of course you
I
were.
second guessed him.
I could have said tabaxi to be like, oh, that's what I would have thought.
I was going to say that it was a tiefling.
All right. Now, as we begin, I'm going to need all of you to make me dexterity saving throws.
Boom, boom,
11.
boom, boom. 16.
And how about you, Anna?
That is a 15.
Nice. All right. Anna and Six, you two leap out of the way, like as if you guys were basically not even there. Suddenly you are standing, and unfortunately for you, Bevyn, as the cart comes racing towards the kid, waving his hands.
Can I fail my dex save and use it to push Bevyn out of the way?
Yes. Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
I think seeing it happen, I think Six sees that. I see that Anna is already, maybe even a little bit to my chagrin, she's moving out of the way quicker than me. And Bevyn just isn't as fast on his feet. And rather than jumping out of the way, I just shoulder tackle Bevyn, using that momentum to just knock him out of the line of fire. So I will take the fail instead.
Okay. That's really, really cool of you. Just give me a second. I got to get all my D12s for this.
My character bond is I want to be famous, whatever it takes.
All right. We'll call you 6 days into apple carts. You, Bevyn, suddenly feel this shove on your side as you kind of move, like get pushed over to where Anna is. You fall and tumble, hit the ground, rolling just in time to see Six get beamed and shoved out of the way by this apple cart. You go sprawling, Six, and you will actually take 2 points of bludgeoning damage as you kind of get smacked by an apple cart. I mean, it's like a 600-pound cart. The cart goes careening down. Actually, not 600, probably more like 200. But goes careening down, hits a wall. Apples go spilling everywhere. You see 2 more children running behind, and you hear them. Well, at least you hear the young boy running behind. It's a small boy and a small girl. Squiddy, Squiddy! And you see the boy kind of like grab Squiddy out of the thing of apples, helped by the girl, and they kind of both, with some effort, pull them up. They all 3 of them turn to look at you. We're sorry. Are you okay? Are you okay? We didn't mean nothing by it.
So as all this happens, I jump up immediately and just run right to Six. I'll just kind of shoulder past the kids, just not like shoving them, but kind of, not really paying attention to them as I push past him to get to Six. And I'll help him to his feet. You all right?
I kind of look around and I move my arm in the shoulder a little bit. I imagine it just kind of winged me, spun me around a bit and knocked me down. It could have been much worse. Hey, I think I am okay. What about the children? How are the children?
I'll spend a look at the kids. Are you all right? Is anyone hurt?
The tiefling boy, who you heard the other boy call Squidly, says, "We're okay." You see him. He's a slim tiefling boy. He has like an eye patch. He has what looks to be like a small like toy bow, but like it looks to be more like a branch that's just been kind of like bent with with just like a piece of string or something. And he also carries like a small quiver of like 3 toy arrows. Nothing, nothing dangerous. And he kind of stands there, kind of cradling the bow in both of his arms. He's kind of looking down, and the other young boy, kind of a little bit of a portly child. You see him. He's got like this kind of ratty, what looks to be like a towel or something that has kind of been fashioned into like a bit of a cloak. He has what looks to be a twig with some of the leaves and stuff still on it. And he's holding that, and he's also holding what looks to be kind of a stuffed owl bear toy. And he's just kind of looking down. He's not even looking at you. And the young girl, very thin, kind of whip thin, taller than the other two. She has a kind of wooden toy sword kind of in her belt, and she's not saying anything, but she's looking right at you almost defiantly. You've seen that look before, and when you were younger, you probably even looked that way at people before, authority figures.
Is Squidly still kind of tangled up amongst the apples?
No, the other young boy and girl, actually both of them helped pull him out of the apples, and they're kind of just standing in a line in front of you.
What happened?
They all kind of don't really say anything at first, and then Squidly kind of, we were just having fun. We saw this cart, and I don't know, we want to play around, but then we lost control of it. And you see the other boys like, you lost control of it. And he kind of, you see him hold his stuffed owlbear toy like kind of a bit tighter.
Right, so it was your playing around that could have gotten someone killed, right?
And they kind of don't say anything for another long pause. And yeah, we're really sorry. And the other boy, the quieter one with the toy, looks up, and we are really sorry.
Sorry doesn't unbreak bones, child. You see Anna's just kind of like standing up with her arms crossed, looking down at them.
I'll kind of walk up and I just kind of put my hand on Anna's shoulder and just kind of pat her a little bit, and then I'll kneel down where the kids are, kind of get down closer to them a little bit.
As soon as you kneel down in front of like kind of the 3 of them in the middle, the young girl steps in between the other 2 and you, and she just crosses her arms, and she's just staring right at you again with that same defiant look.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, and Squidly, the tiefling boy, he's like, says, no, it's okay, Nat. And he kind of like taps her shoulder. She spins around, and you see her hands start moving very animatedly. And Squidly kind of returns another kind of animated set of hand signals.
So do we recognize it? Is it thieves, or is it any kind of thieves' cant that we would recognize?
It is not. You don't recognize it in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't seem like it's a code. It doesn't seem like it's any type of code. It seems like it's almost a language.
Okay. So I hold my hands up in front of me. It's all right. It's all right.
I'm going to interject
So,
as I put my hand on Bevyn's shoulder. And as I put my hand on your shoulder, Bevyn, I give just a little bit of a squeeze as I say, at ease. Both of you. And I turn to look at Anna. Let me inspect these adventurers, please. And I turn to the children. You will have to excuse my subordinates. We are on important, heroic business. And you have the look of adventurers yourselves. Although, it looks as though your equipment is lacking. And I sort of gesture towards the makeshift weapons. And your uniforms are not up to snuff. As I gesture at the cloth or whatever tied like a cape. Is this true that you are a band of adventurers?
Squidly kind of like does a little hop on one foot. I'm a ranger, and he's got kind of this bow, the bow holding above his head.
I have no doubt. I have no doubt about that.
And this is Jenks, and he's a wizard. And that's not. And before he can even finish it, she kind of covers his mouth, and then she just looks at you, not not really. She doesn't seem as angry, but she's got kind of a suspicious look on her face.
I lean in. I put my hands behind my back, kind of like an authoritative gesture. And I bend just at the waist and lean towards her. And in a sort of stage whisper, I say, it is okay to acknowledge when you are simply playing a role, whether it is on a stage or on the stage of the streets.
Now, here's a question. Do you face her when you say it, or do you say it into her ear?
I look down right at her. I lean right down into her. So I'm bending at my waist. I'm not like getting in her face, but it's that kind of bending at the waist to be like, it's a very theatrical gesture. It's an over-exaggerated, but I'm saying it directly to her.
Yeah, no. Obviously there's a reason. I think you've already picked up on it already, but just wanted to make sure. And she stops for a moment. Good. She stops for a moment and kind of sheepishly smiles and nods her head. You can tell that she's maybe just a little bit older, but like in her heart, she's a lot older. And looking at the children now, the three of them, you can tell that they're either living in destitute or they're living on the street. Their clothes are not, they don't have newer clothes or fixed clothes. Their trousers have holes and other bits kind of worn into them. Their boots, or at least if they had any proper shoes, either were ill-fitting or it seems like they're all like tied up so that they'll stay on their feet. Their holes. These children are obviously extremely poor.
So I will reach into my coin purse, and I will hand the girl a couple of silver pieces. So I just kind of hold them out to her. And I show her that I've got a couple silver pieces in my hand. I just hold them out, and then I turn my hand over to drop them in hers. It's okay. We're not here to get you in any trouble. We want to help.
And she kind of holds out her hand and takes them. Like, she doesn't grab them or rip them from you. You can tell that these three kids, they're not like the boy that you met who was probably around 12 or 13. Like a lot more cynical, probably a little bit more aggressive than these kids who seem to be, between 9 and 10.
How many other kids are there?
There's only the three of them.
The three of them. Okay, so I'll hold out a silver piece to each of the younger boys too.
And they accept it. Thank you. And we're sorry, Mr. Cat, about your you getting hit and all. We didn't mean it.
It was nothing. It was merely a performance. Do you like being heroes, or do you like pretending?
We want to be heroes. And the young, kind of quieter boy with the wand, he kind of perks up at it. And even Nat, the girl, she perks up a little bit after seeing the other two really happy. She kind of stands there and smiles as well. Kind of looks at you.
Can you remind me where we are in Waterdeep?
Sure. You are currently in the trades ward. Give me 1 second here. You had gone into just below the City of the Dead, on just off the high road on the Street of Tusks. You kind of ducked down an alleyway that you saw was kind of on the map, and that seemed to be the right way to go.
So we're about 20 minutes or so south of our home.
Yeah, I'd say about that.
All right. Then I just say to them, well, if you wish to be adventurers, then you are going to have to learn to control your surroundings. Adventurers do not hurt others, especially the innocent. Mind your eyes. And I turn to the one wearing the eye patch. And sort of, in my mind, I want to make a joke, but then I realize I don't know if he really has a missing eye. And you know what? Six would say this anyway. As I say, so mind your eyes. Or, well, eye, in your case. Mind
you
your
sensitive bastard.
Mind your ears. Pay attention to your surroundings. Listen, look, feel. I hope to see you someday in the Hall of Heroes. And then I wink at him.
They ask, or at least Nat kind of gestures to Squidly, the talkative one, and makes more hand signals or sign language. And he says, Nat wants to know why you're here, because you don't live here, and because, yeah, why are you, what were you doing in this alley?
Do you live here?
I mean, sometimes we do.
We were looking for something, and we were told it might be her.
Yeah. Oh, what were you looking for? Maybe we can help, and we could be adventurers too, and that would be great.
So, I will Is the ground? Is it just like a cobblestones ground, or is it dirt, or what are we?
I mean, it's cobblestones now mixed with a crap ton of apples,
Right.
and various like detritus and other like bits of broken everything, and
Is
an
it
alley.
like dusty, dirty at all?
It's a bit dirty, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
there's some.
What I'm just looking. What I kind of want to do is take out. I'll take out like my dagger and just start to draw in some like dust on one of the cobbles or something. And I want to just draw the symbol that was on the the vellum that we got from the Nimblewright.
You want to draw the name?
No, there was the snake with the jewel.
No, the snake with the jewel was on the tabard of the Nimblewright.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The map only contained an X to the location you are currently in and name.
Okay. And we don't know that name, right? That's not a name that we are familiar with.
Oh, not that you're aware of.
Okay. Do you know anyone by the name of Stormcastle?
Oh, that old Fenris.
Yes. That's the
Yeah, he's always grumpy. He's always kicking us out. Sometimes we like to come here because the rains don't always come around here. But yeah, no, we know who he is. He's got scars all over his face. And then the young boy Jenks. Yeah, but it's because he was a really bad man. Because he fights. He fights. And Nat even kind of gestures something to Squidly, and Squidly says, "Oh, yeah, and well, I mean, he lives right over there," and he just points, and you can see a kind of like where the bend of the alley starts to kind of like go up. You see what looks to be like a back door that is partially ajar. He lives in that house there.
Is he have you seen him around recently? Do you know if he's home?
I don't know. He's with the Lamplighters Guild. So he could be in there. He could be sleeping. I mean, I wouldn't leave my door open if I had a home. And then they kind of like stare at the ground for a while, and they go, "Well, we have to go." And they both pick up like a few apples and kind of like stuff them in pockets and kind of like other little spots. And she Squidly kind of grabs one apple and kind of like rubs it on thing and kind of bites into it. Okay, well, bye. And all three of them go tottering off.
I just kind of watch as they head off.
Sure.
And it's kind of
it's like 30-45 seconds kind of up the little alleyway hill, and they're like out of the alleyway and they turn a corner. They're probably on the high road or they're somewhere.
Whatever we decide to do, we should probably not stand next to this broken apple cart. I would not like to take the blame for this.
That's a good point.
In my experience, when something is broken or looks like it's been pushed, they usually blame the tabaxi.
Or like when a citation has been ripped up. I mean, whatever. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten.
I almost did.
Shall we check on Master Stormcastle?
So, I don't think it's any secret, Bevyn, that I don't always pay attention. I don't remember.
A shocked look on my face.
I don't remember why we are looking for this Stormcastle fellow.
So I will pull out the parchment and show him.
Oh, that's what was on the Nimblewright.
Right. So.
But do we know why we're looking for him? Other than it was on a piece of paper.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'd kind of like to find out why that Nimblewright tried to kill us.
Well, I mean, that is, I guess, a fair assessment.
Nimblewrights don't often just carry around pieces of paper with people's names on them.
Oh, based on our inability to find this Nimblewright for such a long time, I'm surprised to find out, Anna, that you are some sort of Nimblewright expert. That is said with very much a tone of smart ass.
Did you pull out the vellum, Bevyn, to have a look at it again?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will have shown it to 6.
If you do, make me a perception check or investigation, whichever one is higher.
I'm going to use one of my points of inspiration.
Giver.
All right, that's better. Slightly. 12.
Okay, that's enough. I just basically wanted a 10 or higher. Okay. When you kind of like present it and say, look, here 6 is what we were supposed to look at. This is what we got. And as you point to it, as you look at it, you realize what you thought was kind of a road was a little bit of writing that kind of seemed to have blended with the map a little. And you see now down at the bottom, it says, take the blank. And it's all messed up with what looks to be like either blood or oil or something else. And then 2, and then the name, Fenris Stormcastle.
So I will. I'll point that out and show that to my companions. I didn't notice this before, but there's more to this. Do we have anything that can we take to Mr. Stormcastle? Is there anything? Anybody find anything else on? Well, not on the Nimblewright, but anyone else that came after us?
There was that dagger. Or the necklace.
I just look right at 6.
If you recall, I had hidden the necklace. I put it into a place of safekeeping, as it was not exactly, well, it was not procured exactly in the best of circumstances, either from us.
Who's to say that the Nimblewright didn't already give Fenris what he needed?
Look, I'll be honest. I'm not big on taking. The thing that tried to kill us was trying to take this man something, and if we've got it, I'm not sure that I want to give it to him anyway. I'm more keen to.
What if he was?
Questions.
What if he was supposed to give him proof that he had killed us? Either way, now that we are here, I'm not too happy having. If this Fenris fellow is the one who was behind hiring this Nimblewright or instructing it to hurt us, we should pay this man a visit.
Agreed.
We now know where he lives. And if he is a lamplighter, perhaps he is asleep. Although, even I must admit, it is a bit suspicious that his door appears to be ajar.
I just start heading that direction.
Yeah, and I would follow.
Oh, good. I thought we were going to stand here and talk about what we were going to do for a little while longer.
It takes no time for you. I mean, you just make it right up there, and you see the door is slightly open. Pushing it open, you see that it's a very, very small home. You see just one room. There's a fireplace. The fire, or if there's been a fire in there, it's been long since burned out. The coals are definitely cold. You see a kind of an overstuffed, very well used chair with what looks to be some bottles or some clay jars of booze that have kind of been sitting in the side. You also see just a personal trunk, a few other little odds and sods, but it looks to be that there may have been some sign of a scuffle. You also see one door as you walk in through the door, it'll be to your right-hand side. You see kind of one door beside the fireplace.
I think Anna would immediately, upon seeing that it's pretty empty, would head towards that door. And maybe before trying to open it, kind of listen to see if she hears anything.
I'll turn to Six while she goes to look too. Six, can you keep an eye on the door while Anna and I only do what we do? Let us know if you see anything coming.
Of course.
I'll start to just peek around the room that we're already in, looking for anything.
Okay. So what I'd like from you guys first is to both make me perception checks.
11. Sorry, 12. 12.
Got a 20.
Okay. You both hear nothing. And I assume you are both going to open the door. And when you do, you all die. When you do, you see a kitchen that has been thoroughly ransacked. There looks to be something painted on the wall. Even though it's a bit dark, light coming in from a dingy window, you can see it looks to be a circle with 10 equidistant lines with smaller circles on the end of each one. You know, you have seen this. You know this symbol to be the symbol of the Xanathar Guild. And I also need, and of course, with that perception check as well, you can tell that the symbol has been painted in blood, and it seems like it's still a little bit fresh. There are blood drops all along the kitchen floor, and peeking your head back to look at Six, you can even see some blood drops kind of near the door now that you're looking at it, and kind of around. So there's definitely been some signs of a scuffle, and they tried to kind of maybe clean it up a bit, but they failed miserably.
And I would point that out to the others, and then also point out the blood. Might be a possible trail for later.
Yeah, so really nothing else to see. So I mean, I would start following the blood trail to see where that leads us.
Sure. As you kind of look, you're not exactly sure where the blood trail starts and stops, because there are droplets, and because droplets are significantly less, like smaller bits of blood, they've already started to coagulate and kind of dry onto the floor. So it's not exactly something so simple as, it's in this direction. But you kind of look, you kind of like see it kind of move, and you see the droplets kind of stop around the front door and then disappear. As you kind of go into the second room, you look, and same scenario where it was there, and then now there's like just nothing. There's definitely been a fight in here, and then whatever happened to Fenris just gone.
And I want to look at the trunk, see if there's anything in the trunk that was in the first room.
Sure thing. Opening up the trunk and kind of rifling around, you find some clothes. Unfortunately, it looks like to be the further you dig down, the dirtier the clothes get. So we can just stop the information at that. You also find what looks to be a small pouch. Inside the pouch, you find just a couple of what looks to be robin's egg, turquoise stones, each one worth about 25 gold, give or take. I mean, you can definitely tell.
How many were there?
2 of them.
Pocket them.
Obviously, I mean, come on, free stuff.
Anna is gonna look. Is there a bed?
No, you don't see a bed. The entirety of the house, and I use that term loosely, would be very much akin to a condo downtown, where it's like 18 square feet and probably like 200,000. The one room itself, it looks like Fenris must have used this overstuffed chair as a bed, or at least spent a lot of time in there, as there's no other real furniture. There might be a stool, maybe like a little teeny tiny ottoman he could put his feet up on, but other than that, other than the hearth, a few pieces of wood in kind of like a log holder beside it, fire poker.
Anna is going to start with the chair, and then she wants to like kind of feel it, making sure that there's nothing hidden inside of it, and then she wants to just kind of go around this room, maybe stomping every so often or like knocking on a wall to see if there's anything that's hidden.
Gotcha. Okay. Then if that's the case, while you do your best imitation of a 3-year-old temper tantrum, I need you to make me an investigation check, and just to see what you see. Well, see what you find.
I'm going to use a domain die.
All right.
Okay. That is a 17.
17. Very nice. Stomping around, eventually you kind of, you stomp around, you're knocking on the walls. Finally, you've all but given up. You can't find anything apart from like the natural hollows in between joists, floor joists. And you kind of like rest your hand on on the wall. And as you're about to move your hand, you kind of bump what looks to be like an old dingy picture, and it kind of moves a bit, as most pictures should, except most pictures don't usually have aren't covering up a small alcove. As you kind of like move past it and kind of look into the alcove, you see that there was once something there, but now it's gone.
Right, well, whatever he did, he didn't do it very well. She kind of gestured to the alcove. Whatever was in here is gone.
So does that mean somebody already brought him whatever it was, and then it was taken? And
Your guess is as good as mine.
if he's gone, then where is he?
Well, probably the Xanathars have something to do with it.
Right. I think it's time we paid someone a visit, Anna.
Right?
So, yeah. I'm gonna just signal in Thieves' Cant to Anna that I think we need to fill 6 in on our contacts with the Xanthars.
Well, you guys are with the Zentarum, not the Xanathar.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I was gonna say if you,
Yes.
I mean, if you guys want to
No.
switch and be with the bad guys,
Too many Z's.
I wouldn't suggest it though.
Yeah.
Look, they're kind of
No,
jerks.
but yeah, my point is our underworld dealings hopefully will have some experience with this, and we need to let 6 know so we can go talk to our contacts. So,
Sure.
I think, yeah. Anna would just kind of like roll her eyes and look at 6 and say it just out loud. Fine, right, I guess, but better not screw anything up.
So,
Wait, what? I'm literally just catching part of a conversation.
So, 6, I know you. I know you've picked up on a few things from us that. Well, Anna and I aren't the most savory of characters, but where we got to go next, I need you to know that. Well, long and short of it is, we do work for the Zentarum. I know that goes against a lot of the stuff you might work for, but figure you know enough about us at this point. I don't think it's a shock to you, but I need you to know the full of it before we make our next stop. So I think we need to visit some of our contacts to find out, see if they know anything about what's going on.
Wait, you are telling me that you, Bevyn, and you, Anna, you work with the Zentarum, the masters of deception and thievery? I am shocked.
Stutter.
I am shocked and appalled. This is absolutely new information to me that I have not heard before or did not suspect.
Right.
I can taste the sarcasm. It's
In case you can't tell, because of course I'm a very good actor, that was sarcasm. I was not being serious.
Right. Well, I just needed to make sure you knew. I don't want to take you someplace you don't want to go. So.
I always go where I want to go.
Cats are like that. So are you all leaving the house and going somewhere? Where you cats? Well, where you people and cat going? I know.
Yeah, I want to go talk to Davo and see if we can figure out or get any information. I feel like there's been enough stuff circling around us that wasn't there something too that was Zentarum related in some of the
Isn't Devil in prison? Or am I
Yes.
thinking of someone else?
Nope, you are absolutely correct. After the what is it they called it? The Graalhund Manor slaughter or something to that effect. Or butchery. Anyway, a lot of the Zentarum or anyone being associated with the Zentarum have been rounded up and arrested.
Right. Well,
at least that you know of.
That was a week I missed. I missed out on that part, but all right.
So are we going to go to the prison?
Davil's in jail?
What?
Didn't you hear? It was all over the papers. People screaming it everywhere.
Town criers losing their voices.
No, I don't. No, I don't think we need. Prison sounds like a bad bad idea to me. If they're rounding up people associated with the Centaurum, I don't want to go anywhere near somebody that might round us up too.
Wasn't there that woman that we met with? Gosh, when we did one of the jobs, there was that woman we had to talk to first.
Yeah. She gave us the thing to take to the place.
You mean,
Mm-hmm.
you mean
You're
the
talking
one?
about the gnome, Schemo Weird Bottle.
No, wasn't there like?
Well, after you got the bottles of stuff from Schemo, you did take it to a noble woman. Yeah, we know how that went. Yeah.
No, so before that, like the
Marigold
first
honey
mission
pot.
that we did. Sorry?
I have a marigold honey pot written on here for some reason. I feel like we talked to her. Oh no, that's different. Never mind. That's a different thing.
Yeah.
That's a different thing.
I feel like I would remember a Skiva Weird Bottle.
You weren't there
Yeah.
because only these two were there. Because you two, well, at least you and Kiara were doing your own thing for this other group that was, you know.
You know, if you are uncertain of which of your contacts are in jail and which are not, and if it's not safe for you, perhaps we could check with my contacts.
With who? Oh, your I heard a name. I heard Mike on Axe. I was like, who is that?
Well, let me tell you.
We're gonna check with my contacts.
Were you thinking of Istrid Horn? Is that the person you were thinking of, Bevyn?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I have no idea.
You actually do remember Istrid Horn, and you remember this because you were at a meeting between Davil, this extremely large half orc, very quiet, very grim, and could give the 1,000-yard stare from like 2,000 yards away, which is just scary individual. You also remember this kind of short, stronger looking dwarven woman who Davil had spoken to and had named as Istrid, or at least Istrid Horn. And of course, also with that group was Schemo, the not so psychotic, pretty crazy gnome that has an affinity for, well, bottles. I mean, it's in his freaking name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you to Star 19, who just gifted a tier 1 sub to Commander Root.
Thank you.
We're back up to 11 domain dice. And another gift. Gifted tier 1
Oh, jeez.
sub. We're up to 12 domain dice. Star 19 likes to spread the word. Make sure more people can enjoy what we're doing out here.
Much obliged. Thank you. The last time you saw Istrid was at the Yawning Portal.
Can we try her then?
As good a place to start as any.
Well, in my experience, though limited it may be, if it's assholes we are looking for, we will find them at the Yawning Portal.
Wow, that's wow.
Well, my experience with the...
Hang on a second. If I remember Bardic School of Wizardry, throwing shade is not one of them. Okay.
Bardic School of Wizardry? What the...
you know, you're Bardic School of Magic. You can't just summon shade. Like, easy there.
I just summoned shade.
Clearly.
I did not have a good experience with the Zentarum at the Yawning Portal.
Yeah, well, that's your own fault now, isn't it?
I don't think so. I was just trying to engage in conversation.
No, you weren't. No, you weren't.
Well, from my perspective, I was.
So now that you have a destination, as you leave Fenris Stormcastle's home and you begin to make your way out, the alleyway, this kind of like long, kind of narrower alley, as you begin walking up, you see an individual alone walking towards you. It is a tall, graceful woman in an emerald green cloak. She approaches you. Her long silver hair kind of billows from underneath her hood. I'm afraid you're too late. It appears that the Xanathar got to him first. Fenris had something in his possession that I desire. Perhaps you can help retrieve it. As she kind of lifts her hood back, and you see that you are looking into the face of the Open Lady of Waterdeep, Laeral Silverhand herself. And that's where we're going to take our break. The most powerful woman in all of Waterdeep.
Say, yeah, that's like...
Yeah.
The Open Lord is a pretty big deal.
The last time you had seen her was at the parade before all that went to a thing that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. As Mike said, we're going to take a 10-minute break, during which time you can enjoy our promos and whatnot that will run during that time. And we'll be back in 10 minutes to continue the adventure. Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is The Intermission. Mini Terrain Domain, or MTD, is a channel dedicated to the love of and participation in the world of tabletop role-playing games. Whether we're designing encounters or miniature terrain, building worlds or dice towers, or just playing games, everything we do here is because we love this amazing hobby. That is why the mission statement of Mini Terrain Domain is simply imagine, build, play. If you like to watch live play or actual play D&D games, you can do so at twitch.tv/Mini Terrain Domain 3 days a week at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. On Sundays, you can join us for Cult of Personality, a long-running campaign set in the Tomb of Annihilation adventure setting. On Mondays, you can join us for All That Glitters, a Waterdeep Dragon Heist campaign guaranteed to be epic proportion. And every Thursday night, you can join us for Dawnbringers, the Forge of Fury. This is a series of mini campaigns going across the gamut of several well-known modules. Season 1, which is available on youtube.com/Mini Terrain Domain, took place in the Sunless Citadel, and Season 2 is currently taking place the Forge of Fury. If you can't join us in the chat for our live shows, that's okay. You can usually catch the roleplay, or rather the replay, on YouTube just 2 days later. If you're a fan of what we do here and you'd like to support what we do, there are a variety of ways you can do this. First, simply follow the Twitch channel or hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Next, make sure you follow all of the participants of each game or show on their various social media platforms. To do this, if you're watching live with us on Twitch, you can simply type an exclamation point and that person's name into the Twitch chat, or on YouTube, you can look down below the information bar and all of their links can be found there. Finally, if you would like to provide monetary support, which flows right back into the production of the channel so we can continue making great content, you can join the growing list of patrons on Patreon. Additionally, you can also use Ko-Fi or Coffee to buy a coffee or two. I like coffee. But the absolute best way to support the channel is to follow and subscribe on Twitch and YouTube and join us in the chat. If you have an Amazon Prime account and you link it to your Twitch account, you can subscribe to one channel per month absolutely free. No matter what you decide to do, we are just happy to have you here. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more great content in just a few moments. Remember, metadata!
Hi everyone, I'm V and I have the YouTube channel, The Crafting Muse. Please be sure to go over there and check it out if you too would like to learn how to make some tabletop terrain, paint miniatures, as well as some game accessories. I'm always happy to have new subscribers over there.
Learn the ways of the Game Master, the Dungeon Master, and delve into the minds of the players. If you're looking for adventure, excitement, thrills, and a dice-rolling good time, grab the modules each month and play the campaign with your gaming group with quest givers DM Scotty and DMG. They're taking you on an epic journey through the role-playing experience every Friday. You're sure to get hooked on adventure.
And we really liked the idea of creating adventures together, so we thought that'd be a lot of fun to share with you guys.
I didn't think this kind of stuff would come out of my brain. We are quest givers, and I'll see you in the next video.
Adventure Mixtape, a music and adventure anthology, is a collection of 4 adventures for the 5th edition of the world's most popular role-playing game. The adventures are setting neutral and meant to be seamlessly dropped into any world that has a large seaside city and a jungle environment. With a bit of adaptation, the environments could be changed to suit any group. In Treaty of the Tiger King by Kelsey Dion of the Arcane Library, a distant king arrives at the city to negotiate the peaceful end of a war, but the Mercenary Guild has other insidious plans for him. Will the players be able to thwart assassination attempts against King Rami and help him negotiate circles of social intrigue in order to finally end the war? In Madness of the Majestic Menagerie by Ken Brees of Burling's Beard, the famous Majestic Menagerie draws hordes of visitors to the metropolis and cultural hub known since time immemorial as Splendor by the Sea. But now the gates of the famous zoo have been shut, and the grand opening of the new section has been jeopardized by a spate of mysterious accidents and, it's whispered, grievous injuries due to uncontrollable creatures. Mr. Majestic seeks to hire investigators and troubleshooters who can keep a low profile to iron out any problems before the impending grand opening becomes a complete disaster. Do you have what it takes to uncover what's driving the madness that's befallen the Majestic Menagerie? In The Infernal Collection by Sharm Biswas, when an influential fashion designer is found dead days before a major fashion show, heroes are called in to solve the mystery, prevent any further destruction, and help the fashion house prepare for the show. Gorillas in Their Midst by Jacob W. Norman of Mini Terrain Domain is a pulp action adventure wrought with perilous challenges and high possibility of death. But what is adventure without danger? Of course, there is the lure of vast piles of unclaimed treasure and the accompanying fame that await those intrepid adventurers who would defy the odds and plunge into the heart of darkness. In this adventure, the characters will face raging river rapids, wicked waterfalls, poisonous plants, venomous vines, sinking sands, treacherous traps, and the vicious jungle demon itself, Awakane Gori. Grab your satchels, fedoras, and bullwhips. Adventure awaits. The Adventure mixtape also comes with 4 original songs inspired by and written for the heroic adventures herein. This collection of music and story is something unique. We had no better word for it than mixtape. If you ever received a cassette, CD, or digital playlist curated to take you on a memorable journey, then you'll recognize what you find inside this volume. Also included in the Adventure mixtape, courtesy of Kelsey Dion of the Arcane Library, are exclusive combat cards. Special cards that contain all of the items, monsters, and spellcasters found within these adventures to make running your adventure all the more easier. Adventure Mixtape, a music and adventure anthology, is available exclusively on drivethrurpg.com.
Cryforth, once home to the most wondrous kingdom the world had ever known, blasted to nothing in just a fortnight. It is here that the fiends of hell walk among us. It is here where all things die. Welcome to Cryforth. Demon invaders roam the landscape and have conquered all. The world is a ravaged and wrathful wasteland, where the old world lies buried beneath the blood and sand with its gods and its secrets. Water is fought over with blood and steel. Compatible with the 5th edition of the world's oldest fantasy role-playing game, this book contains all new character creation options, including all of the familiar classes with new aspects befitting the ravaged wastelands of Cryforth, along with new backgrounds, subclasses, spells, feats, and so much more. New races will allow you to play as the Cursed Ash Elves, the Forsaken Humans, the Primordial Incarnate, the Proud Orcs, the Reptilian Suri, or the Infernal-Blooded Tieflings. New game mechanics such as blood, grit, and effort give your games an intense focus on lethality and survival. Numerous roll tables full of ideas to help bring your games to life. Featuring incredible thematic art by Brandish Gilhelm of Runehammer Games, as well as Lloyd Collins. The people of Cryforth are not heroes. In Cryforth it is courage just to survive. Will you rise to face the tide of demons, or will you succumb to the hostile elements? Available now on drivethrurpg.com.
Welcome back. So, Laeral Silverhand. There isn't any, like, none of, everyone knows who she is. So as she stands before you, she kind of says what she has said, and she stands there and kind of waits.
All right. My lady, and I kind of give a short bow. I have to say this was not the place I would expect to see someone of your stature. But how can we help?
Fenris stole a magic item, or at least he has one in his possession. It is a dangerous, sentient magic item. This stone, the Stone of Golor, leads to a vast fortune that has been stolen by the previous Lord of Waterdeep. is a very large fortune, and I would like you to retrieve the stone for me for the good of Waterdeep.
We've heard of this fortune. It's not
Yes,
exactly.
the rumors have persisted, but no one has bothered to look, which is probably good for them, as digging up treasure in Waterdeep does come with it enough penalties that quite a few people would be arrested and not in a very good light. I believe that the Xanathar Guild stole the stone from Fenris and took it to a nearby hideout. This hideout is in the southern ward. If you would retrieve it, I would be very, very grateful.
I'm guessing that gratefulness has some perks along with it.
I elbow Anna.
She smiles at that. And she says, yes, there is some perks, as you describe it, to go along with that. But if you would retrieve this for me, I believe that something could be done. Of course, I would assume that your willingness to aid the people of Waterdeep would be reward enough.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm very glad to hear.
So can you tell us any more about where we can find this hideout? The southern ward's kind of not exactly small.
No, very true. Down the high road, by the Spectre Walk, there's a small alley just behind on Spectre Walk and Carter's Way. It is kind of a strange bow-shaped alleyway. You'll find a small door to a section of wall. Walking down there, you will find the Xanathar Guild complex that you seek.
If you know all this, why not just snap your fingers and have the gods there within moments? Why have us?
If I send the guards, then there will be an unfortunate issue with the guild itself, and I do not want open war and blood on the streets of Waterdeep, especially now when things are a little bit tight with food and people need to feel safe in their homes. Adventurers, on the other hand, you'd be able to get in and out without too much problem.
And I would assume that should something happen to us, you did not say this. You weren't here.
Oh no, understand that we will help you in any way that we can. But once you do return with the stone, I will meet you in the theater in the dock ward.
I'll just look at the other two and just kind of give this shrug, like,
Why are you shrugging, Bevyn? This is not a question of whether or not we are going to do this thing.
I turn back to Lady Silverhand. You've got yourself well, we'll find your stone and we'll bring it to you.
Thank you. And she kind of takes one step back, turns around, and just walks back down the alley.
To the southward.
She's shorter than I thought she would be.
Aren't they all?
I'm not usually one to warn of hesitation. And I realize we are relatively speaking close to the southern ward. I feel like we could perhaps take some time to be a little better equipped. If we are going to walk into right into the lair of the Xanathar, we might want to make sure we are at 100% prepared. Did Mike, when Avi and Embrick said that they were rewarding us and custom making some items for us, did they give us a time frame?
They did not.
And roughly how long ago did that happen?
I believe that was about a day and a half, 2 days ago.
Okay, that's probably a little quick to make a sword and some armor and stuff.
Perhaps maybe some plans might help us.
Well, I mean, we haven't exactly used planning a whole lot.
Did she say that it was abandoned? Like that they had taken up an abandoned warehouse? Or was I zoned out?
No, it was just a just a wall in the alleyway. There's a wall that just seems to lead to like not a building, which is kind of just a weird place for a wall, but it's a door that leads down into this sewer complex.
So
Okay.
I would say disregard what I was saying. I was thinking maybe Avik and Embry would wait. Embrick and Avi. Not Avi, Avik and Embry. That didn't sound right. Anyway, I was thinking maybe they would have made some stuff for us, but that seems a little quick. You know what? We are pretty successful so far with just heading straight for something. And doing it. So maybe we should just go. I mean, what could go wrong, really?
Maybe we should go buy some things. You look like maybe you could use well, based on your past, maybe a healing potion or two.
You know, I do have the ability to heal myself without the use of drinking potions.
Right,
Well,
but you'll have used all that up healing us, right?
Oh, but of course. Maybe perhaps you should have the potions.
I'm already thinking of getting some. What you say, Bev?
All right, I think stocking up sounds like a right proper idea. Let's say we head back, find a place to resupply, and head over, see if we can get an idea of this place. Maybe stake it out for a bit before we go charging in.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know that I would want to head all the way back to home, but definitely would like to find some sort of store, shop of some sort to See what I might be able to find.
How much money do we have?
We have a
I
fair
have-
we have a fair amount in our safe back at home.
A fair amount.
Well, I know there's at least one of those trade bars that was worth the gold trade bars you had that was worth 250.
Yeah.
I thought Bevyn was taking care of the money.
I think that Anna would actually offer to just run back and get some of it, because all we have are those two stones, right?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Doesn't the I can't think of her name now. I want to say Nim. Wasn't she supposed to pay us for destroying the Nimblerite? According to my notes, we were supposed to get 500 gold for destroying the Nimblerite. I mean, that's a pretty good chunk of change. If we're looking for money, and we're going to be buying some things, maybe we want to go stop by her and get paid.
That's a good idea.
You know, maybe we go get paid for doing that job. We go get our other monies. We look into resupply and maybe, just maybe, stall enough so that Ash can come with us.
Wait,
If she wants to.
Ash? What
Yeah,
happened to
she's
Yeah, wait, where is Ash?
Magical had to go do
Got
stuff.
hit by that cart and haven't seen her since.
Yeah.
You know, I hate to say it, but we could probably use all the help we can get, so we should probably have her come along, if nothing else than just be an intimidating fire genasi.
Right. I don't think there's any point in rushing into this. We got a lot of positives on the other end of this. There's no reason to muck it up just by getting all crazy and out of hand.
We could go check out the Underdark tonight. Anna's like smiling.
Wait. Well, since when were we planning on going down to the Underdark?
Well, that's where the clues were for those plans, right?
Oh, you mean the club Underdark.
Yeah,
Not
not the
not
Underdark
the
proper.
actual Underdark.
No, we're gonna save that for later.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if you were to quantify our experience in a sort of a levels, we are not at a high enough level to go down to the Underdark. Besides, I've heard that there are some terrible goblins and things down there.
Wait, are we still talking about the club?
I wasn't. I was meta talking about an entirely different adventuring group. So I don't remember where. Oh, let me look at these notes.
You looking for the Temple of Gond?
Yeah, that's what it was. The Temple of Gond. That's as you said it. I looked down. Right above 500 gold pieces was the Temple of Gond.
Ding ding. So that's quite a
That's
bit.
like way north, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that is. It's the House of Inspired Hands, and you know that it's in the Sea Ward.
Well, I mean,
As a matter of fact, technically speaking, you could literally walk from the Nobody's Inn down Delzorin Street all the way across Waterdeep until you hit it. Now, from where you are, being in this one little alleyway, again, if you don't mind spending the silver, you could go to the. you get there a lot quicker than.
Well, I was going to suggest taking a mode of transportation. I mean,
what's the cost on that?
does it matter? We're about to get 500 gold pieces.
No, I'm just saying. I just want to mark it down.
It'll be 2 silver each, so 6 silver in total.
Right. So I will. I'll head out the alley to the roadway, trying to flag down a coach.
Takes you
way.
virtually no time at all. A coach kind of pulls over, and you all hop in, and the coach driver takes the high road all the way up, goes on left onto Delzoran Street, and sure enough, in 15 minutes, what would have taken you the better part of an hour and a half, you are at the front of the House of Inspired Hands and the Temple of Gond.
As we get out of the carriage and we're looking up at this towering structure, I just lean over to Bevyn and say, as tempting as it looks to climb the outside of this building, I cannot stress enough how bad of an idea that is.
6, that might be the smartest thing I've ever heard you say.
I won't let it go to my head. And
It only tends to learn. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, and I'm immediately kind of looking around, maybe pull my hat down just a little bit as I'm looking around for any guards or anything like that. I mean, I'm not climbing the building. I just don't want to see any reason to draw attention to myself. Said the Maine Coon Tabaxi in the hat with the giant purple feather.
All right. The doors to the temple are still open. As at this point, we're gonna say it's probably around 2 p.m. You know, it's like kind of mid-afternoon at this point. As the three of you walk in to the door, walk into the main area, you see once again the Dragonborn whose name I don't exactly have on me at this moment in time, because y'all just had to surprise me, didn't you? Y'all just had
Valletta?
Say again?
Was it Valletta?
You know, it very well could be.
I don't have Dragonborn written down, but I have Valletta the priestess.
Oh, okay. Then, yeah, probably. Valletta walks in, bronze Dragonborn. She looks at the three of you and bows and, welcome back. How did you fare?
Well, it was not it was not super easy, but it was not super hard. It was what we call a challenge. And the one which we were able to successfully complete.
So you destroyed it.
100%.
Great. Then you have proof of the destruction. Don't worry. I'm gonna let this one slide. Because I'm not a dick. I'm gonna let this one slide. Because you did not specifically say, hey, I'm gonna take some proof so we can get that cash.
What sucks is I distinctly remember there was a point after we killed it where I was going to pick up like a finger or a hand or something, and I completely forgot about it.
It's all right. I am a magnanimous dungeon master. But I will say that you did grab a piece of its machinery, it's in its inner bits, taking it from you, she looks at it. Excellent. Thank you. And she hands you a small pouch. Inside, you see 50 platinum pieces. After all, I mean, who's going to carry 500 pieces of gold? I mean, that weighs that's a lot of weight there. So here's 10 pounds of money. Mm-hmm. So she looks at you. Do you know what its intentions were?
As far as we can tell, it seemed that its intentions were to destroy us.
You? It was sent to attack you?
It certainly seems that way.
I would find that surprising, but I do not know the whims and plans of these mechanical creatures.
We have reason to believe that it was in the service of House Growlhund.
House Growlhund is a... Yes, I know all about House Growlhund. It would be in your best interest to stay away from them. Killing a noble carries a very swift penalty, a very harsh, swift penalty. If you kill a nobleman, make sure that there's a very good reason for it.
If I find myself having to kill a so-called noble of House Growlhund, I will have a very good reason.
As you wish. Thank you again for helping us with this problem. I will send a priest to House Growlhund to see if this lines up. I wish you all the blessings of Gond. And she turns around and kind of walks away with the kind of piece of machinery in hand.
Anna's gonna call after her. Is Nim all right?
Ah, yes, Nim. Nim is fine. He understands what he has done wrong and has learned. I believe he even fixed his mechanical bird. Turns out he wasn't trying to hit you. He was trying to get it to work. You just happened to be in the way.
Well, tell him his, gosh, the word is... tell him his, Nimblewright detector worked really well. Will you?
Ah, I will. If you like, if you don't feel like you need it, I can take it back if you want.
Unless you are going to hire us again for the seeking down of Nimblewrights, you can absolutely have the Nimblewright detector back. And I will return it from my ruck. I almost said from my rucksack. That's actually a wooden chest, which is an in-joke on our Curse of Strahd game.
There. So when you hand it to Valletta, she nods her head and is about to turn and says, "Oh, wait. I have something for you. Come with me. And she begins to kind of walk further into the temple.
Is she saying that to me or us?
All of you. Yeah, all of you.
All right. Well, I just look at the others and start following.
Inside this, she kind of leads you into like what looks to be a small antechamber or a small room. Inside the room, you see it looks to be organized chaos. There seems to be things all over the place. It looks very, looks like someone only with a genius mind could really understand what the heck is going on in this place. She pulls out what looks to be two. I can only say it to be two. What looks to be like really small little like stilts, like little hand stilts. She places them on what looks to be a large wooden workbench. Please accept this as a token of gratitude. And she kind of like grabs like a little like lever, a catch, and you see the stilts kind of extend. These are adjustable stilts. One of my acolytes created it, and you have in your possession now adjustable stilts. It does take 1 minute to put on or remove. It will increase the height of any humanoid wearing them by 2 to 5 feet. Each stilt weighs 8 pounds and is 1 foot long when it fully collapsed. And this, and she kind of grabs what looks to be a backpack, a seemingly normal backpack, but a little bit weird looking. This is very interesting. Inside is a folded piece of fabric. It's very, very large. If you were to jump from a high height and pull this, and she kind of notions to like a small cord, it will extend out and it will save you from falling to your imminent death. I believe they call it a parachute. And so you have a backpack parachute. It requires a 10-foot cube of unoccupied space to deploy, and it's a parachute. And I think we all understand what a parachute is. So,
but we will call it a parachute for the rest
Oh,
of
yeah.
the game.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So you have a parachute. Next up, she kind of puts a little 6-inch by 6-inch by 6-inch metal cube, and it has a crank on top. While she begins to kind of crank it, like winds it up, and she kind of sets it down onto this table.
Sorry, 15-year-old me is dodging jokes just like last night.
That's fine. That's fine. Because you're a jerk.
Nope. Go on. We'll just sit here and watch her crank it.
Well, as she winds it up and sets it down, she goes over and taps a small piece of the table, a small little area, and suddenly the box starts barking, like an actual like barking, like it sounds like a dog, and it just keeps going and going and going, and as she taps it there, like the box actually shifts and starts barking, and as she taps it into another spot, you see that the box shifts again and starts barking again. So it's called a barking box. It will detect, if it detects vibrations within 15 feet of it, it will, it sounds like a large barking dog.
So it's a mini dachshund. Does it pee? People try to pet it?
I mean, you could, but it's a box.
All right.
And
I would like to name it Oscar.
Right.
Sure. And then the last thing is it's a pipe. And she kind of looks and, I am not sure if any of you smoke a pipe, but This is a matchless pipe. It requires no flint, no steel, nothing. And she like kind of holds the bowl in front of you and kind of pushes what looks to be like a small little button on the side, and you see a little spark kind of like pop up in the bowl. Yeah, I don't know if this is very necessary, but here. And so you have a matchless pipe.
I take it and immediately begin puffing on it.
There is no tobacco in it. You look silly. And that is all the things that she gives you. And after that, she bids you a fond farewell and kicks you out of the temple.
So, to summarize, we went to the church to get paid for the job we did, and then we're brought to the rummage sale where we were given a bunch of stuff.
All inventions made by acolytes. And keep in mind, I've never seen a parachute being sold at a rummage sale. So...
I don't know what a parachute is, but we have a parachute.
That's true. A parachute.
A parachute.
Mine.
So yeah. I just picture us walking out of there like we just left Grandma's. She's just giving us a bunch of stuff. We've got these stilts in our arms. I've got a pipe with no tobacco in it hanging from my mouth. We've got a barking box.
I mean, Six is walking out of this place with this on the stilts, right?
Oh, 100%. At max height. So I am now 11 feet tall.
There you go.
Oh wait, I gotta double check.
People are walking by you, looking at you kind of like strangely as you're leaving the Temple of Gond with like giant stilts on. It's like, okay. Just hashtag just Gond things.
So this wasn't exactly what I had in mind about getting ready, but I don't know, if we're going underground, maybe we don't need a parachute. I don't need one anyway. I can magically make myself not hit the ground. But this box is very interesting. It has a lot of potential as an alarm. And perhaps these leg extensions will come in handy at some point. Is there anything special about them as far as like hindering movement speed or anything like that?
Like you mean the stilts?
Yeah.
I mean, as any person on stilts, you would probably have disadvantage to avoid being knocked prone. And seeing as how you'd be wearing stilts, I'm going to make damn sure to try and knock you prone because you're wearing stilts. And if I was fighting someone wearing stilts, the first thing I'd do is probably just give them a good hard shove over.
I was thinking more like in terms of extending them out and running in order to get a jump.
I mean, you can wear them to like reach up somewhere higher.
I mean, you also remember there's 16 pounds between the two of them, so I think if anything, it's going to hinder your ability to jump.
We'll see what happens. Should the opportunity arise, not arouse. Freudian slip, I guess. Clearly. I don't know what that was. Clearly. So, wait a minute. Are you guys making me carry all this stuff?
100%. We didn't even say anything.
I mean, either one of you could probably carry something.
No, I envision we're walking out of this place and Six has got a backpack on with two unwieldy stilts in his arms.
Well, no, I'm wearing the stilts.
I was wearing the stilts, so he's got the backpack on.
I will shorten them down.
A weedless pipe and
I will shorten the stilts down so I'm only 7'9" instead of 10'9". And because I already have a pack on, I'm wearing this parachute, like when you put a backpack on your front, and I'm fiddling with the barking box. So, all right, well, and at some point I would have given Bevyn the sack of platinum.
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah.
All right.
Should we do some shopping then?
What's the whole reason we came up here?
Is
All right,
there? Oh, sorry.
Well, I was going to say I was just actually looking for shops near you. Okay, so books, another one of those catalog shops. And you're looking for like probably potions, or what do you like? What is it you're like? What kind of shop are you looking for, basically?
Is there a
Potion.
place? Oh, sorry.
No, I say potions, potentially armor. Yeah.
Yeah, is there like
Okay.
ready-made armor that you don't have to like order and have them make it for you? It just magically fits you.
I mean, there are places you can go that I'm like frantically looking for, clicking on, let's see, magic.
Men's
Clicking
Armor
every
House
place that looks like a shop.
or
Yeah, I'm trying to look for any sort of like, I know that there's armors here, but I can never remember where
Nordstrom's
exactly.
Armor Rack.
Nordstrom, yeah. It's
Which
around
ones are
here.
the shops?
I believe it's, you know what, you'd probably find it in the Castle Ward. And actually, the Castle Ward would probably be your one-stop shop as far as like any type of weapons and armor and adventuring gear and potions, and that is the one thing. So the Street of the Sword and Warrior's Way would be like the two streets that you know that most adventuring parties kind of like gather. Like if there's one group of, hey, wow, those jerks over there walking down like they own the place are pretty wealthy because they're walking in, stopping in shops and buying crap and so on and so forth.
I thought that said the Master Barker's Hall. I was going to say we definitely need to go there.
So you see, so you know that like as you, which I'm assuming you're going to be heading there, as you walk down the Street of the Sword, one of the shops, as you're walking down like towards Waterdeep Way, on your left-hand side, you see Old Knot Shop, which is adventuring gear. So any sort of like 10-foot pole, rope, pitons, other such gear, little places like that, that's where you would find in Old Knot Shop. You can go to Balthor's Rare and Wondrous Treasures. I can tell you right now, there's going to be some interesting stuff in there.
Balthor's?
Yep, Balthor's.
Yeah,
I want to go
like
to
a place
there.
that Bevyn would want to go. Bevyn's interested in finding anything that might help with entry and exit to, stealth entry and exit situations. Or distractions, anything like that. So,
okay,
smoke bombs, any of that.
Sure. So yeah, you have. So as you make your way down, you walk into this store. It's very, very nice, very beautiful. You also notice that there's a kind of a small bookcase. All the books are attached by chains and locks. They're all locked up on chains into this bookcase. You see on another area, you see what looks to be a tall kind of glass, like glass and wood kind of display case, and you see quite a few like little trinkets, little magic items, on there. In front of the shop, like in the front kind of display case, you see kind of like different rings, kind of in different pendants. You see a few like kind of wooden mannequin sections with armor, different types of armor on them. And of course, you have what looks to be kind of a sword rack behind that has several swords on different tiers and racks and whatnot. And yes, they all look really freaking cool. In case that was a thing you wanted to know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as a sword dancer, I am very interested in swords.
So two of them that stick out, at least for you, two of them that you have used before, you do see two scimitars hanging up. One of them is beautiful. It has like the blade has this very strange kind of a reddish orange like glint to it. It has what looks to be a dragon's head, a red dragon's head, kind of pommel on the back, and the hilt looks to be kind of very thin wings that stretch out. And as the blade curves, you'd swear that in the glint of the light, you could almost see the faintest lick of flame.
Well, looking at this, I'm 100% certain this is going to be within our price range.
Could be. An individual, you hear an individual, you don't see an individual. The voice, this kind of booming, deep, welcome to Balthor's rare and wondrous treasures. How may I help you? Don't
Bevyn?
see anyone.
Bevyn, why don't you tell them what you want?
Yes, we are. We're looking to resupply with our little group here. I'm not sure what my friend Six is looking for, but Anna and I looking for things that might help us get in and out of sticky situations.
And what sort of magic items can I help you find? Boots of stealth? A cloak of invisibility? Or perhaps a fantastic ring?
That all sounds pretty good to me. Why don't you show me what you got, and we'll see what kind of business we can do.
And you see now what looks to be like a piece of reality or a piece of everything else kind of gets tossed to the side as this older human man kind of spins around, grabbing this cloak of what seems to be a cloak of invisibility, and kind of shoots it around and folds it perfectly over top of around his over his arm, drapes it over. The cloak of invisibility, a very powerful item, but I can most certainly give it up for the right price.
And what would that price be?
$19.95.
You know what? Okay. I can give it up for 1,995 platinum pieces. And you can thank your buddy Jake there for giving me an idea for the price. Good call, buddy.
Wait, 1,995 platinum pieces.
Yeah, you said 1995. You didn't specify like, hey, 1995 copper.
So
you get for
how about
coinage.
how about this ring you were talking about?
Ah, the ring of invisibility. A item so rare that only a few of the most powerful individuals have ever truly gotten their hands on one. They say that even the great god Mask attained his abilities through a ring of invisibility. It, of course, is a little expensive. But if you do not wish to have a cloak weighing you down and you simply want a ring, well, the ring can be yours for 500 platinum pieces.
I'm just going to turn around and walk out at this point.
Fair enough.
You were talking about some boots.
Ah, yes. These boots were made by the great elves of the Dales. And he kind of, almost out of nowhere, he picks up this pair of boots that look like just beautiful, supple calf leather, kind of a mixture of like greens and browns. It almost looks like a type of camouflage. These boots were made by the elven kind. These are boots of elven kind. They are very good at hiding the sounds of your walking. So if you wish to be stealthy, these are the boots to get.
Right. Just price.
Ah, yes, of course. I apologize. The price for these are 2,000 gold coins. Cheap, a definite steal if you're wishing to remain silent, but on a budget.
Right. And I think Anna's going to follow Bevyn out.
So, as you can see, we're not currently at this moment looking to purchase some of these fantastic higher end items that you have for sale.
I see.
At the moment. But perhaps do you deal in potions?
Unfortunately not, and I do graciously apologize for that. If you will wish to go to have a potion, I would suggest going down the Warrior's Way. You will find a very charming gnome by the name of Deluntier. He has an apothecary there. If you need a potion or a poison or apparently other things to assist you in getting through the day, that is one person to speak to.
Very well. We do greatly appreciate you showing us your wares today. And I would be remiss if I did not at least ask what you could tell me about that sword there, the scimitar with the fine dragon basket and hilt.
Yes, the Dragon's Kiss. It is an old sword. It has been with a mercenary of some note many, many years ago. Came into my possession when his family became unfortunately destitute and needed to pawn the sword off for money. I managed to purchase it off them for a definite fair price that they are now living in a fair bit of luxury for. And it can be yours for, I believe that one is 100 platinum, 1,000 gold. I guess I should stop speaking in platinum.
Well, It is certainly a beautiful sword, and one that will remain in my mind after I leave here. Perhaps one day I will return for it.
It has a mate, as it were. I mean, the swords were sold as a set. And he reaches down and kind of holds the dragon's kiss. This one is also with it, the bite of the ice wyvern. And he crosses the other sword into it as well. And it's this sword that has this kind of bluish crackling. You can actually feel cold by being near it. These swords, if you wish to buy them as a set, which I would highly suggest, would be able to possibly do you a bit of a deal. Normally, the Dragon's Kiss is 1,000 gold, and the Ice Wyvern's Bite is 2,500. But because you seem like a tabaxi of fine taste, I would sell you both of them for 2,000 gold. And I would highly suggest you write that down so you can use it against your dungeon master the next time you actually have the money.
You think I didn't write down the two most magnificent swords I've ever seen?
Just checking. Because if I forget, I'll be like, no, I don't remember that, so that probably didn't happen. But you wrote it down, so that's pretty smart.
In pen.
Oh my, in pen.
Well, they are certainly very handsome blades. I can assure you, should I make the decision to purchase them, that they will find themselves in a place of honor at my side. But for now,
Very nice.
I must also bid you adieu, and I very awkwardly, still holding all this stuff, sort of reach up and just kind of tip my hat.
And he also gives kind of a curt bow. Just off the top of... Wait. Let me ask you a question. Does this happen a lot? What's going on right here, right now? Does this happen a lot?
Oh, it was church rummage sale. Sorry, it's a figure of speech. No, we were coming. We were out doing a bit of shopping, and
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll tell you what I do. I like you. I think you're a good egg. Just a moment. And he reaches over and grabs a bag. This kind of like leather bag. It looks like it's seen quite a bit of use. You're almost certain that there might be like a dried blood stain on the very, very soft leather canvas. You're not even sure what it is. Here. And he plunks this bag. And the bag's not very big. It's about the size of a shopping bag. Here, feel things. And consider it on the house.
Glancing up at the swords and definitely not wanting to do anything to offend this person. Well, I thank you very much. And I take one of the stilts and just thinking I'll at least be able to carry, this will help. And I just take one of the stilts and put it into this bag.
And it just disappears, like goes right into the bag.
Hold on. 6 isn't the brightest, so I'm just... Well, that's a 17, so... I feel like he at least has a bit of... Especially being in the city, maybe he's heard of these things. Ooh. Thank you very much.
No problem. I can't really sell it. I mean, you can see it's been through some things. So I'll tell you what, just have it. But promise me you'll come back one day and consider the swords again. Remember, 2,000 for both.
You can be fairly certain you will be seeing me again, my friend, Balthor. And I stuff the other stilt and the parachute and the barking box. Mike's gonna regret that. The parachute
okay.
thing. And even the pipe. I shove them all into this bag, and then I'm going to, in like you said, I imagine this is just like a large compared to a leather pouch, but small for any kind of bag of means. In bad shape, beat up, bloodstained, dirty leather, and I fasten it to the side of my pack, and I head out after the other two.
Oh, before you go, you don't have a portable hole on you, do you?
A portable hole? No. I don't?
Don't ever put a portable hole in the bag of holding. Just
so I think he's going to see this look come across Six's face. That's just like, oh, of course not. I would never do this.
Just don't. I'll tell you what. Buy the swords first, and then you can do the thing. But just come back and spend money, most of your money, all of your money, before you try that.
If there was anybody that should not have been told that, it was Six.
That's fine.
All right, so yeah.
And as you exit out of the shop, Balthor tipping his imaginary hat or invisible hat, probably, we will end the session there. And when we pick up next session, we're going to kind of do a little mini fast forward with all of the shopping stuff, and you guys can tell me in chat what you want to buy, and I'll let you know how much it costs, and we'll just go from there.
Just as a quick
buy some stuff for Ash, just in case we run into her again. Yeah,
might not be a bad idea.
Just as a quick footnote to that, I absolutely told Anna and Bevyn that I traded all that other stuff for this bag. So I have not told you the properties of this bag.
Yeah, I'm just Bevyn just shakes his head because he gave two craps about that stuff. So Six seems like the kind of person that would trade some semi-valuable stuff for some magic beans, right?
Yep.
And both 6 days into summer and me, the player, absolutely want those swords.
I bet you do. But hey,
Well, I knew that there's no way that they're Icing Death and Twinkle, but I don't know if anybody knows what Icing Death and Twinkle are. They're Dritz Do'Urden's twin magical scimitars that he's had for most of his throughout most of the novels.
No.
Twinkle weirdly is no, it's not Twinkle. It's Icing Death. He actually got from a spoiler alert for the books that have been out for 30 years. He got by defeating the ice dragon, the white dragon, Icing Death. And then Twinkle, I forget what Twinkle does. It's the stupidest name for a sword, but
yeah, but you know what? Considering what I've been told of Drizzt Do'Urden's abilities, he's scary. So he can call it whatever he wants. He can call his sword Princess Sparkle Pants at Candy Cane Island. And you know what? I'm going to be intimidated by Princess Sparkle Pants.
I've read the first 9 in chronological order. The first 9 books of the overall tales of Drizzt Do'Urden, and they are some of the best fantasy story-wise as it relates to D&D. Not always are they written the best, but they're wonderful books. And actually, I'm not 100% positive, but I believe that Bob R.A. Salvatore may be contributing something for Jasper's Game Day.
What?
But I'm not 100% positive on that, so you didn't hear that from me.
No, you said it. It's canon now. You'd better make this happen, or else.
Well, I can guarantee that there are some items coming up for the Jasper's Game Day stream that we have not announced yet that will make some people, if I didn't already know about it and then I heard this was a thing, it would make me poop a brick. So
wait, an entire brick?
An entire brick.
Wow.
Just straight up like Bender in Futurama, you would just see bloop. No, it's gonna be pretty incredible. Well,
nice.
As always, thank you, Mike, for a wonderful session. Even though we took it once again, it sounds like we took it way away from where you were thinking we were gonna go. But anyway, hopefully Cassie gets her internet thing solved and can join us next week for what will be episode 20 of All That Glitters. I do want to say, as always, thank you to everybody who has joined us in the audience tonight and in the chat. Special shout out to Star19 who gifted excuse me, who gifted some more subscriptions to viewers in the audience. So as always, thank you, Starin, for that. Thank you everybody who tuned in tonight. We always appreciate you, and we hope you enjoy watching the show. You can tune in here on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern for episode 9 of Dawnbringers, The Forge of Fury, season 2 of our ongoing campaign. And then regular shows happen on Sundays, Mondays, and Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on Mini Terrain Domain. And if you're interested in the Dice Tower of Mesrol, the Tomb of Annihilation Dice Tower I'm making, either tomorrow or Wednesday, I'm not sure which day, I'm going to do a live stream as I do more work on that. I have been doing the live streams for the crafting stuff over on the YouTube channel. So you're going to want to make sure, if you're interested in that, you are subscribed to the YouTube channel. Though, I don't know, I might change it up and do it over here because everybody's awesome over here too. So, follow me on Twitter and you'll know what I'm going to do. Be sure to follow all of these wonderful players on their social media. Everybody's got their own things going on. So whether you're into minis, terrain, adventures, just the D&D community as a whole, you're going to get some great content from everybody here. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to end the stream now. We're going to end it the same way we end every stream, as I suddenly can't find the button. There it is. We're going to end the same way we end every stream, and you can say it with me if you want. Imitate.